Okay, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning, and I gotta get the sauce on. The gravy, the Italian gravy. So big shout out to our buddies in Texas, our new friends. I guess Carol and Manny are on the cruise ship still. I guess they are. So we're gonna show them a little bit of Italian Scatigna sauce, gravy, if you would. So I got my Super Papa apron on, of course, so we're ready to rock and roll. So one thing I did want to tell you, using sausage for your sauce to get some flavor, make sure it's Johnsonville. Don't use any other. Obviously, if you have a nice Italian market, then rock and roll, my friends. But I'm stuck in Hicksville, Illinois. Gotta do what I gotta do. So that's what it is. I'm gonna brown the sausage first to get flavor. I usually use neck bones as well. Couldn't find any neck bones yesterday, so if you have them, brown the sausage, brown the neck bones, and that's where the flavor comes from for your sauce. Okay, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Let me get the sausage in there. I'll come right back. Okay, so we're browning the sausage, as you see, and I'm also, while I'm doing that, I'm going to get a nice onion chopped up, nice and small. Let me turn the sausage a little bit. Very important that you do not burn the bottom of the pan. Otherwise, you'll get some of that grit in your sauce. And you don't want that. You can't have any of that nonsense. So I just frequently turn it. Be right back. And I know I did tell you that, I forgot to tell you to make sure you're using good olive oil when you're browning the sauce. Make sure you're using olive oil, just a little, not too much. I don't know, maybe it depends on how many sausage you're browning, but maybe 3 tablespoons, something like that. We don't measure over here. We do what we do. Need a little cooking music, I think. Play some Neil Young. Now that'll get us cooking. Need the volume up a little bit. Alexa, volume 6. In a few minutes, I'm going to dice my onion. Ready? So that's how you want it. No more than that. I don't know if the steam's getting it. Otherwise, it'll burn. So that's pretty brown. That one's a little dark, but it's perfect. It's not burnt. So let me get them out of there. Okay, after you take your sausage out, you throw your diced onion in there. All that flavor from the sausage and the onion going together, you saute, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes or so. Get it nice and soft, tender, I guess you can call it. But that's the next step. And then in the interim, you got to open these guys up. The Contadina tomato paste. And they look like they're about 6 ounces. So I need 4 of those, and then 2 large crushed tomatoes, 28 ounces, or even the larger ones would be fine. So I'll probably put 3 in there and see what it looks like, and use the 4th as needed. But you want to get those rolled. I usually use Contadina. Again, couldn't find it down here. So after you get the onion out, you're going to saute the paste, then add the crushed tomatoes, and however many cans of paste that you use, you fill up with water and add that. And I'll be back then. Okay? Okay. That looks about right. Nice and flavored from the sausage. Yeah, that looks about right, guys. So, I gotta make myself a little cappuccino to get things rolling. Yes, a little cappuccino. Gotta take care of the cook. Not like Rome, but close. Be back, I'm gonna add the paste. Okay, we added the paste, and as you can see, the paste soaks up all the oil, the onions. It just stir it a little bit here and there. You don't want this to burn. And depending on how strong you want it, is how long you'll let the paste go. And I got it pretty low, a little higher. And I got my water all rocking and rolling. I used 3, like I said. Excuse me, another sip of cappuccino. One of my pilot cups, I just love them. Present from Lisa, I got like 10 of these things. The cappuccino. Okay, don't want it to burn and stick. That's a no-no. Let me get the crushed tomatoes going. I'll be right back. Okay, so I added everything in there. And by the way, I forgot to tell you about sauteing some garlic after the onion. And put that in there. And now I'm adding garlic powder, salt. Now the salt is kind of how you like it. I add a pretty good amount, and then I taste it, you know? And then some black pepper. Just add a bunch of that. I like it fresh ground. So, and like I said, the salt and the garlic powder, how much you use, man, just put a lot of garlic powder on that covers the top of it. And then after you stir it all around, taste it. I like a lot of pepper, as you can see. You got to taste it. This is a personal preference thing. I can't tell you do this much or do that much. It's all about how much you do. I used to put oregano in here and basil. I quit doing that. Just the salt, pepper, garlic, onion. I'm not going to put any wine in this one. I am going to maybe put a dash of sugar. And just stir it up good. As you can see, it is a nice thick sauce already. Not too thick, but it's nice, you know. But this thing's going to cook for about 5 hours. Let me get a little tasty here, if you don't mind. I got to see where I'm at. Need a lot more salt. Remember, you can always add more, but once you salt it too much, you can't take it out. You screw it up. So, little at a time, I'm telling you. Taste, a little more, taste, a little more, taste. That's how you do it. Once you screw this all up, you got to redo it again. I mean, that's just a bunch of nonsense. So, I think now, after eating a tomato in Greece, I had tomato and feta cheese, believe it or not, and I have not tasted a tomato since I was 5 years old in New Jersey when I took a little bite of it, and when we had some tomato plants in the back on 14 Southgate Drive over there, and it tasted like I was biting someone's tongue. I got freaked out as a kid, I guess, so I have never tasted a tomato since. Of course, in my sauce and in ketchup, but that's it. But it looks so good in Greece next to the feta cheese. These tomatoes were so beautiful. I took a bite, and guess what? I liked it. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna add a little more salt and pepper. I need a little more garlic powder too, believe it or not. Again, like I said, it's a trial and error thing. Just keep adding and taste. Adding and taste. Until it's the way you like it. And remember, after cooking for 6 hours or 5 hours, the tastes are gonna develop a little bit. So don't make it too salty. Okay? Be careful on the salt. But when you add salt and more salt, it does change the flavor of the tomatoes and the sauce. It's crazy. So just give it a go, give it a try, and you'll do it differently for a few times after you make it, and then you'll see what works for you. Again, basil can go in here if you want, a little pinch of oregano if you like. Make sure you have the garlic, the onion, and then garlic powder, salt, pepper, the crushed tomatoes, the tomato paste, water, and then salt and pepper to taste. As you can see, it's taking me a while to get the flavor. A little more garlic powder, almost there. That's it. Just a dash more salt. So if you're doing that at the end, you did it right. You don't want to say, oh shit, that's too salty. That sucks. So, as you see, I'm going to leave it at that. Enough for the salt. I'm done with that. Even though it needed more. Dash of red wine can go in this if you want. And a little bit of sugar. Be right back. Okay, the sugar's in. Oh, it's starting to bubble. So after it starts to bubble, I take it off so I can start adding all the sausage back in here. So all the sausage is going to go back in here to cook. Yeah. And of course you want to add all the juices as well. Where you took the sausage out, definitely do not forget that. Got another one. Hold on a second. Hold on. And more sausage I cooked. I cooked extra. There we go. You can never have enough sausage. That's why I always say, let's put it back on the heat. I didn't want it bubbling over on the stove for Lisa to have a hell of a... And look at all those goodness on top. So you got to stir that in. That's the flavor, my friends. Of course, the seasoning, right? And onions and garlic, and then the garlic powder and all that, of course. But the seasoning from the sauce and the neck bones, we don't have neck bones today, they didn't have it. It'll be just fine. All right? That's where the flavor comes from. So, everything's in the pool. We're gonna go ahead and cover her up. Now this is key. We're gonna have it bubble very lightly. I'm gonna cover it and let it do that. Where's my coffee? While I'm waiting for that to bubble. Progresso breadcrumbs, Italian style. No other brand will work when you're making your meatballs. This is for the meatballs, my friends. Manny, meatballs, Italian style breadcrumbs from Progresso. If you don't got it, then you got to use something else. But search for it. It'll make a difference. Cappuccino. Who's this? Pudgy. What are you doing, Pudgy girl? What's up, girls? Hello. What's up, baby girl? Pudgy girl. She's just a lover. So that's it, and I get the lasagna ready to go. 2 boxes. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Show you how to make the meatballs. Here's a little key for you, Manny. As you go along, wash up. You don't want to leave it for the wife. Oops, excuse me. Moving. So I don't want Lisa to have a big mess in here. And it is actually 6:15 in the morning now. So we're getting there. All right. So as you can see, she's cooking nicely. Every couple seconds you get a little bubble. That's it. Cover her. Make sure you're not making too much of a mess. Oh, making little breakfast potatoes with onions and stuff. Got to get breakfast going now for Lisa. She loves breakfast in bed every weekend at least. So let me get going on that. It's coffee time. How's it outside? Very nice. All right, I'll be back. Okay. Another thing that I do put in my lasagna is those tiny little meatballs. Tiny, like about that big. Gets layered into meatballs. It makes a big difference. I'm telling you, Manny and Carol. So let me get the meatballs going. Got about a pound of meat, ground beef. I like to use the 327, I think it is, because there's a lot of fat in it and a lot of flavor. Okay. So an egg goes in there. Hold on. And I get my eggs from the farm. Look how orange those babies are. The orange yolks. I mean, I can't do those pale yellow eggs that make me sick from the store. And then you do Italian flavored breadcrumb, as you can see, a healthy amount. And then just a little smidgen more. And then salt is key. Sprinkle the salt around it pretty good. Again, to taste. I give a good amount because the beef, there's a lot of beef in there, a pound. And you don't want it pretty bland in the middle. That's about it. And then, of course, the ground pepper. Egg, salt, pepper, Italian flavored breadcrumbs, and a little bit of warm water. Show you about that. That's about it on the warm water. That keeps it moist. I'll be right back. I went and stirred the sauce, guys. So now you, excuse me, don't want to kill myself coughing. Okay, so now you gotta stir it. So let me stir it all up. I'll be right back. Okay, I added a little bit more water, and the last thing I add is some parsley flakes. Let me mix it up. So that's about the wetness you want it. I don't know if you can tell, but pretty wet. I mean, if I turn it over, you can see it's a little moist, you know? So just moist enough where it stays moist, but not too wet where you can't form it. So you'll learn that as well after making it a few times. So let me make my little meatballs and I'll come back. Okay, here's the little meatballs, as you can see. They don't have to be perfect size, but if you can see my finger, how little they are, okay? That gives you an idea. Little meatballs, okay? We're gonna brown them when it's time to put the lasagna together, so I'm gonna put it in the fridge for now. Okay, for the regard to cheese, make sure you use whole milk. 2 big ones, as you can see. I don't know, 32 ounces. Put a couple eggs in it, salt and pepper and parsley. That's how you mix that up. I'll be right back. Okay, all mixed up. Salt, pepper, the 2 small eggs, and parsley. That will go in the fridge until it's time to layer the lasagna.